We continue to track a southern snowstorm and the possible impacts across southern and southeastern Kentucky. The latest on what to expect for the snowfall just ahead.
It started as a routine gas fill-up for his car, but a Lexington man says it ended up causing a lot of damage, and he blames contaminated gas.
And the Cats braved a winter storm in the south tonight in search of their 28th straight win.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for watching tonight. It's back. Snow has returned to parts of Kentucky tonight, and the farther south that you are, the better your chance of seeing the snow.
And much of southern Kentucky is under a winter weather advisory. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. He is tracking the snow on the First Alert Defender.
Yeah, finally getting those snow reports out of southern Kentucky right on cue, timing that in between 8 and 11 o'clock, and we've got our first snow picture coming out of Whitley County. Good folks there in Williamsburg getting in on some flakes beginning to stick right now. Won't take too long with the frozen ground for road conditions to go downhill fairly quickly, and that's going to be the tune as we go through the next several hours. Winter weather advisory is out for all the counties that are shaded in the lighter blue. It's a winter storm warning just across into parts of Tennessee and Virginia. That extends all the way into the Big Sandy Valley of southeastern Kentucky. Majority of the area, no real significant problems. It will be the southeastern corner of the state where we will be talking about anywhere from an inch to up to 4 inches of snow. Just to the north of that, a coating to maybe an inch or so. And again, a very sharp cutoff on the northern edge of that between getting in on some accumulating snows and getting absolutely nothing into parts of northern Kentucky. Live First Alert Defender showing a little interesting spike in some flakes here just to the north of Stanford and Lincoln County. I suspect the leading edge of that not getting down to the ground just yet, so it's a little radar snow showing up Lancaster, Stanford into Liberty. But again, getting those reports across southern and southeastern Kentucky of snows that continue to come down and actually stick to the ground. It won't take long to cover up some of those roads. Guys, the majority of the snowstorm across parts of the deep south from Atlanta and just north of Atlanta into sections of the Charlotte area. They're going to get pounded in the Carolinas. We'll follow follow that up with Arctic air. Then I'm watching March that roars in with some ugly into that 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Chris, thank you. Many people in Pulaski County told us more snow is the last thing they want to see right now.
The county's judge executive says the last week and a half has been a challenge for road crews, and the costs are really adding up. Garrett Weimer continues our First Alert weather team coverage.
Old Man Winter has worn out his welcome.
It gets to be a mess. It gets dirty, and you still have some streets that are fairly narrow, and you know that gets to be a pain.
Ask just about anybody here and they'll tell you they're tired of all the what used to be white stuff. That includes Pulaski County's judge executive, who oversees the county's road department.
I'm ready for spring. I think everybody here is ready for spring.
Yet southern Kentucky again expects its snowy friend to drop in as the county still works to recover from last week's visit.
Basically, we take all of our budget that we planned on for the winter months, and also we use it on 1 week instead of stretching it out over the course of the winter months.
Kelly says he hopes the county will get some of that money back because of states of emergencies that were declared here in the county as well as across the Commonwealth, but that is a process that could take several months. And now they need more salt too, but Kelly says they're ready to handle another round, just maybe not mentally.
I'm ready for some warm spring weather, and I think I'm ready to start mowing grass instead of plowing snow.
Really hope we don't have a lot, because I think it'll add insult to injury, and everybody's kind of ready to get back to life as normal.
In Pulaski County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And across the deep south tonight, millions of people are dealing with a winter storm. Heavy snow has been falling throughout the day from Louisiana to the Carolinas. As much as 6 inches of snow or even more could fall in some places. The governors of both Tennessee and Alabama have declared states of emergency. And more than 1,300 flights were canceled today, many of them in Atlanta. Flights to Atlanta and Charlotte were canceled at Bluegrass Airport tonight.
Tonight, 14 Kentucky counties are still dealing with water shortages caused by the recent bitterly cold weather. Breathitt County is among them. County leaders say hundreds of customers of Jackson Waterworks lost water service last night. They hope to have service restored in the next few days. Jackson firefighters have been giving out bottled water at fire stations to those who need it, and they're also delivering cases of water to people who can't leave their homes. In Estill County, 2,000 people are still without water service there tonight. County leaders set up an emergency water distribution center today. They gave out 1,500 gallons of water. They hope everyone will have water service again by the end of the week. In neighboring Powell County, emergency managers say 2 truckloads of fresh drinking water should arrive there tomorrow to help with a water shortage. Keep checking the bottom of your screen for updated closings and delays. You'll also find a complete list on WKYT.com.
Investigators now say a Lexington man has been killed in a shooting in Louisville. The Jefferson County Coroner's Office says 27-year-old Rodney Fry was one of 2 men shot to death late last night inside a car. It happened in Louisville's Shawnee neighborhood. At last check, police had not made any arrests. Tonight, a central Kentucky man is facing some expensive car repairs, and he blames the gas he bought at a Meijer gas station in Lexington. He claims that the gas was contaminated and it damaged his car. Now Meijer is looking into claims from multiple customers. Jordan Valines has the story new at 11.
Pay for the gas, pump the gas, drive away. It's something we've all done a million times before.
Stopped at Meijer's and topped our vehicle off with gas. Had no issues, drove it home, parked it.
Something Jason Wade didn't think twice about last Saturday.
Everything was running fine on the car.
That is until 2 days later.
We go out and start it, and it's just blowing smoke everywhere. It was crazy.
That's when Wade brought his SUV into the shop to be checked out.
They just decided to drop the gas tank out of the back of the car, and they're inspecting it, and it's full of diesel fuel.
The problem? His SUV runs on regular gasoline, but he says diesel fuel is what actually came out of the regular gasoline nozzle when he filled it up at the Meijer in Hamburg.
This is a sample that the Paul Miller service advisor gave me to bring with me, and it's diesel fuel. It's what they took out of my fuel tank.
Having to get his SUV repaired wasn't only irksome.
Here's one of the spark plugs out of 6, and they're clearly covered in the oil that's in diesel fuel, and they're ruined. They had to replace them all.
It also cost him a pretty penny.
I know of several people that are having the same problems as we are, and this is a $1,400 bill we got to repair our car.
The risk management representative at Meijer has verbally agreed to reimburse them, but they're still waiting on that check to come in, while they're also trying to get the word out to others whose cars may have also been affected by the mishap. In Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
And today, Meijer released a statement about this issue, saying they have received complaints from other customers who bought fuel at the Meijer in Hamburg on Saturday. They say their investigation has not found any contaminated fuel, but they are still conducting tests.
Despite a winter storm in the south today, Kentucky's game at Mississippi State went on as scheduled. Snow fell throughout the day in Starkville. This video shot by John Clay of the Lexington Herald Leader shows fans walking into the arena as snow was falling around them. But that snow did not slow down the Cats as they looked for win number 28. Rob Bromley joins us now with highlights of tonight's game. Hi, Rob.
Well, it was a close game into the second half, and then the Cats simply took off against Mississippi State. Kentucky led it by 9 at halftime. Early in the second half, lead is cut to 4. Defense falling asleep. Rock Johnson the layup. Cats then exploded. Willie Cauley-Stein on the lob from Devin Booker. And then it is Tyler Eulis lobbing it to Carl Anthony Towns. The freshman ended up with a double-double, 12 and 10. Aaron Harrison firing away from three-point range, and the lead was up to 16. Towns then comes out of nowhere, seemingly, and slams it going down the lane. And now, watch Towns get the block. This started a breakdown to the other end of the court, and Trey Lyles working the backboard here for the putback and the foul. He finished with a career-high 18. 6.5 minutes to go. Aaron with a lob to his brother Andrew. Lead was up to 24 points, 74-56. That makes it 28 in a row for the Kentucky Wildcats. That is a program record for a single season. And the Cats clinch at least a share of their 46th SEC title. Much more coming up in sports.
Tonight, firefighters are still trying to figure out what caused a fire that killed 6 horses at a Woodford County farm.
That fire ripped through 2 barns this morning at Chanticleer Farm. Firefighters say that they had to bring in water from a half-mile away because there was not a hydrant nearby. The farm has been home to horses that competed in the Breeders' Cup. Herald leader turf rider Alicia Hughes says the farm is well known in the racing industry.
From top to bottom, they never had a huge number of brood mares. I believe they usually would keep their numbers to under 20, but I believe they probably averaged, about 20% stakes winners from that number of mares, which is a pretty extraordinary thing throughout this industry.
Farm managers are not saying much about the fire or if the horses killed were thoroughbreds.
A former Harrison County teacher faces more charges connected to abusing children. State police say a Fayette County grand jury indicted 57-year-old William Hyatt of Cynthiana on charges of sexual abuse and sodomy. They say the victim was younger than 12 years old. Hyatt also faces similar charges in Harrison County. Police say he sexually abused a child there more than 30 years ago. The House has passed a bill designed to toughen Kentucky DUI laws. By a unanimous vote, the House approved House Bill 60. It would require convicted drunk drivers to install an ignition interlock device in their cars. The device is a breathalyzer that won't allow the car to start if the driver is drunk. The Senate is also considering a similar bill.
A Laurel County teenager has returned home 9 months after being critically injured in an ATV accident. Casey Collett was riding his ATV last spring when his family says he was clotheslined. And since then, he's had many surgeries at hospitals out of state. Casey returned home last week. His mother says that he still has more treatments ahead, but the family's thankful for the support from the community.
We're so blessed to have him home by the grace of God after 17 surgeries, trips from UK to Atlanta to Nebraska, back to Atlanta, and now home. We've just been so blessed.
Casey's mother says he'll have to go to a hospital in Pittsburgh for another surgery in the near future.
A Northern Kentucky man survives his first test on The Amazing Race. The new season of the CBS show premiered tonight. Kurt Jordan Belcher of Pendleton County is one of the competitors this year. Tonight, he and his teammate finished in 6th place out of 11 teams. The next episode of The Amazing Race airs Friday night at 8 right here on WKYT. Some Jessamine County children showed off their best dance moves today, all for a good cause. The Jessamine Early Learning Village had its own version of UK's Dance Blue. The children danced in the gym for half an hour, and just like Dance Blue, these children also raise money for cancer research.
It does mean a lot because we're able to reach kids and talk to them about kids who are sick, kids with cancer. We have a few students in our village that are currently sick.
Well, the staff at the school also held a potluck today to raise money. Dancing for half an hour, I can do that.
A great way to burn off some energy, too.